We're in Cambridge, England. We're at Tyndale House, and we're here to talk about divorce from a research fellow, a scholar, Dr. David Instone-Brewer, and has studied not just what the Bible teaches about divorce, but also what did the Jews teach at the time of Moses, and then also at the time of Jesus. So, my question for David Brewer is, what are the vows for marriage from Scripture, and then what are the vows for divorce?
Charles, that's a great question because when we understand the vows in a marriage, then we know what our own marriages are about. And that's so important when we start out thinking how we're going to live with another person in peace and in love. And we know exactly what the vows were because they're written. They're written in the marriage certificates. There you get a marriage certificate found in the deserts alongside Dead Sea Scrolls, and it says, I will feed and I will clothe and I will bring to my bed so and so, or I will feed and clothe and bring into my house. They never quite say words like sex or anything like that, but and of course be faithful to. So we know clearly what those vows are, and those are exactly the same vows we find in Ephesians when Jesus makes the church his bride, and it says, and he loves us, and he nourishes us, and he cherishes us. And they're the same vows you find right back in history, right back at the time of Moses in Exodus 21. Though they're not written out as vows, there it's written out as a threat, because it's a threat of what a divorce is based on in the Old Testament. In Exodus 21, we're told even the most minor person in Israel can be divorced from their husband or wife if they are neglected with regard to food or clothing or love. In Exodus 21:10 following. And even nowadays our vows are exactly the same. We say we're going to love, we're going to honour, we're going to keep. You honour with clothes, you keep with food. And throughout history we've been saying the same small print in our marriages, and when you keep those vows, you keep a living, loving marriage. But when those vows are broken, then the marriage is broken. And if you break those vows enough times, then a divorce can happen. And it even happened with God. Another place in scripture where you find those three vows is in Ezekiel 16, where God says why he divorced Israel, because they rejected the food, the clothing and the love that he gave her and gave it instead to the idols when they committed adultery with those idols.